Respect isn't something people hand you, it's something you earn, and most people get it wrong. They try too hard, they over-explain, they seek approval, and end up losing the very thing they want most. But here's the truth. Respect comes down to a few simple behaviors you can control right now. Do this, and people will instantly take you seriously, whether it's at work, in your relationships, or in everyday life. When you walk into a room, before you say a single word, people already start forming an opinion about you. Respect doesn't start with what comes out of your mouth. It starts with how you carry yourself, your posture, your facial expressions, your eye contact, the way you move. Those things communicate louder than any speech you could ever give. Most people underestimate the silent language they're constantly broadcasting. They slouch, they avoid eye contact, they shrink themselves down, and then they wonder why nobody takes them seriously. Presence is power. If you project strength and confidence, you'll be respected before you even open your mouth. Think about it. Have you ever seen someone walk in and instantly command attention without trying? That wasn't an accident. That was presence. Presence is not arrogance, and it's not about dominating a room. It's about balance. It's the energy of someone who doesn't need to prove themselves, who doesn't need to shout or show off. It's quiet strength. When you enter a space, lift your chin just slightly, square your shoulders, and walk with intention. Don't rush, don't fidget, and don't fold into yourself. Move like you belong there, because you do. People respect those who respect themselves first. If you don't treat yourself like someone who matters, why would anyone else? Eye contact is another critical part of presence. Too many people break eye contact quickly because they feel uncomfortable. But here's the truth. Strong eye contact is not about staring people down. It's about showing you're fully engaged and present in the moment. When you speak to someone, look them in the eyes long enough to show conviction, then shift naturally. That balance makes you appear confident without being intimidating. Combine that with a calm, steady voice and you send the message, I know who I am and I don't need to prove it. The way you dress also plays a role. You don't need expensive clothes, but you do need to be intentional, clean, well-fitted, and appropriate to the environment. Those small details add to the respect you command. People notice. When you look put together, they assume you're put together. It's not superficial, it's psychological. Humans make snap judgments, and your appearance is the first filter through which they see you. Use it to your advantage. Another part of unshakable presence is stillness. Most people don't realize how much they fidget, shift, or touch their face when they're nervous. These small movements broadcast insecurity. Train yourself to be still. When you stand, stand tall and grounded. When you sit, plant your feet firmly and avoid unnecessary movements. Stillness communicates self-control, and self-control is deeply respected. If you watch leaders, military figures, or anyone who commands respect, you'll notice they are rarely restless. They conserve their movements, and when they do act, it's deliberate. That's presence. Now let's talk about voice. Presence isn't only physical, it's vocal. The tone of your voice, your pace, and your volume all communicate confidence. A shaky, rushed, or overly loud voice signals nerves or insecurity. Slow down, breathe, speak with clarity and intention. You don't have to force it, you just have to own your words. Respect comes from listening to someone who sounds like they believe what they're saying. If you don't believe your own words, neither will anyone else. Finally, understand that presence isn't about perfection. It's about authenticity. People can spot fake confidence a mile away. What earns respect is the real thing. The ability to walk in, hold your ground, and be yourself without shrinking or apologizing. When you combine posture, eye contact, stillness, voice, and authenticity, you create an energy that people can't ignore. They may not always like you, but they will respect you. One of the fastest ways to lose respect is to let people cross your boundaries without consequences. People will only treat you the way you allow them to, and if you're constantly tolerating disrespect, lateness, dismissive comments, or demands on your time, you're teaching others that your limits don't matter. Respect isn't given freely. It's built when people recognize that you have standards and that those standards are not negotiable. Most people don't set boundaries because they're afraid of conflict or they don't want to hurt someone's feelings. But here's the truth. When you fail to set boundaries, you hurt yourself and you lose the respect of everyone around you. Boundaries are not walls. They don't mean shutting people out or being cold. Boundaries are guidelines for how others should treat you. When you set them clearly, you're saying, "This is who I am, and this is what I will or will not tolerate." That level of clarity actually strengthens relationships. People may not always like your boundaries, but they will respect you for having them. Think about the people you look up to, the ones you admire. Chances are they don't let others push them around. They know where their line is, and they hold it without apology. The key to boundaries is communication, and communication doesn't mean over-explaining. Too many people feel the need to justify their limits. They pile on reasons, excuses, or apologies to soften their stance. But when you do that, you dilute the power of your boundary. Setting boundaries should be simple and direct. If someone asks you for something you can't give, you say, "I can't commit to that." If someone makes a comment that crosses the line, you say, "That's not okay with me." You don't need to explain yourself to earn respect. In fact, the less you explain, the more powerful your message becomes. There will always be people who test your boundaries. They may try to guilt you, manipulate you, or pressure you into changing your stance. This is where strength comes in. The first time you set a boundary, it might feel uncomfortable. You might worry that the other person will think you're rude or difficult. But the more you practice, the stronger you'll get. And here's what usually happens. Once people see that you mean what you say, they stop pushing. They realize that your boundaries are real and they start respecting them. And boundaries also protect your time and energy. Every time you say yes to something you don't want to do, you're saying no to something that truly matters to you. Respect isn't just about how others treat you. It's about how you treat yourself. If you don't value your own time, why would anyone else? Learn to say no without guilt. Learn to step away from people who drain you, and learn to prioritize what truly matters. When people see that you value yourself, they'll start valuing you more too. Another important point is consistency. A boundary only works if you enforce it. If you tell someone you won't tolerate a certain behavior but then allow it, your words lose weight. Respect comes from follow through. You can't set a boundary one day and abandon it the next. Hold your line every time, calmly and consistently. Over time, people will understand that you mean what you say, and they'll stop testing you. Finally, remember that boundaries are not selfish, they are healthy. People who respect themselves set boundaries. People who lack them end up resentful, drained, and overlooked. When you communicate your limits clearly and without apology, you not only protect yourself, you also command respect from others. They may not always agree with you, but they'll see you as someone who knows their worth and refuses to compromise it. And that is one of the most powerful ways to earn respect instantly. The words you choose and how you deliver them shape the way people perceive you. You could have the best ideas in the world, but if you present them with hesitation, nobody will listen. Respect is not just about having something valuable to say, it's about saying it in a way that makes people pay attention. Too many people water down their language with fillers, apologies, or nervous laughter. They guess themselves, they backtrack, they use weak phrases like "I think," or "maybe," or "I'm not sure, but," and the moment those words leave your mouth, you've lost the authority in the room. People respect those who sound certain, even if they're still figuring things out. Speaking with authority does not mean being loud or aggressive. It means being clear, direct, and intentional. When you speak, slow down. Most people rush their words when they're nervous, as if they're trying to get them out before someone interrupts. But when you slow down, you signal control. You send the message, "I am not in a hurry, my words matter, and I expect you to listen." That pace, combined with strong pauses, creates weight. Silence can be just as powerful as sound. When you pause, people lean in. They wait for what comes next. That's authority. Your tone is another critical piece. A flat, monotone voice puts people to sleep, but a voice that's shaky or uncertain makes them tune out. Authority comes from speaking with conviction, as if you believe every word. If you don't sound like you believe yourself, no one else will either. That doesn't mean you have to be perfect. It means you have to own your words. Even if you make a mistake, correct it with confidence. Don't stumble, don't laugh nervously, don't apologize for existing. Just adjust and keep moving forward. The language you use also matters. Eliminate unnecessary apologies. Stop prefacing everything with sorry but, or I hate to bother you but. Every time you do that, you chip away at your own credibility. Respect doesn't come from shrinking. It comes from standing tall in your words. Instead of saying, I was wondering if maybe we could try this, say, here's what I recommend. Instead of saying, sorry, I might be wrong, say, here's my perspective. That small shift in language instantly changes how people perceive you. Another mistake people make is talking too much. They feel the need to explain themselves, to justify every point, to fill every silence. But the more you talk, the more you dilute your message. Authority comes from saying less but making it count. State your point clearly and stop talking. Let the words hang in the air. People will respect the discipline in your delivery. Over-explaining comes from insecurity. Authority comes from trust in your own voice. Nonverbal communication supports your words. If your body language and tone don't match, people won't believe you. You can't say, I'm confident, while fidgeting and avoiding eye contact. Alignment is key. Look people in the eyes when you speak. Keep your body open and grounded. Use gestures with intention, not nervous tics. When your words and body are in sync, your message lands with twice the power. The most important part of speaking with authority is preparation. You don't have to script every word, but you do need to know what you stand for. Authority comes from clarity in your values, your opinions, and your message. If you're not clear within yourself, you'll never sound clear to others. Take time to think about what you believe and why. The more grounded you are in your own truth, the stronger you'll sound. Finally, remember this. People don't just respect what you say, they respect how you say it. When you communicate with clarity, conviction, and calm confidence, people can't help but pay attention. They may not always agree with you, but they will respect you because authority in speech signals authority in character. People are always watching how you respond when things don't go your way. It's easy to be calm and composed when everything is smooth, but true respect is earned in the moments of stress, conflict, or unexpected challenge. The way you manage your emotions under pressure tells people more about you than your words ever could. If you lose your temper, lash out, or panic, you send a message that you can't control yourself. And if you can't control yourself, why would anyone trust you or respect you? Respect and self-control go hand in hand. Controlling your emotions does not mean suppressing them. It doesn't mean pretending you don't feel frustration, anger, or disappointment. It means you learn to manage your reactions so that your emotions don't run the show. Too often people let their emotions hijack their behavior. Someone criticizes them and they snap back. Something doesn't go their way and they show visible irritation. That kind of response tells others you are reactive, not in command. Respect is never given to the person who can be pushed off balance easily. People respect those who stay grounded no matter what's happening around them. When you're under pressure, your body naturally goes into a stress response. Your heart rate goes up, your breathing gets shallow, your adrenaline spikes. If you don't train yourself to manage that state, you will default to instinctive reactions instead of intentional choices. The most effective way to control this is through awareness and breath. Something as simple as slowing your breathing can reset your nervous system and buy you the space to respond instead of react. Those few seconds of composure can completely change how others perceive you. They see calm, they see focus, and they see strength. Another part of emotional control is learning not to take everything personally. If you allow every comment, criticism, or challenge to wound you, you'll constantly be on edge. People will sense that they can get under your skin, and the respect you might earn will disappear. The truth is, most of the time, what others say or do has more to do with them than with you. When you stop making everything about you, you free yourself to respond with clarity instead of defensiveness. That detachment makes you stronger. There will be moments when you feel anger rise inside you. The instinct may be to lash out, to prove your point, or to match someone's energy, but emotional maturity means choosing restraint. It's about deciding that you don't need to win every argument or react to every provocation. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is pause, breathe, and let silence do the work. That silence unsettles people more than shouting ever could. It shows control, it shows confidence, it earns respect. People also notice how you handle failure. If you crumble, complain, or blame others, you lose credibility. But if you take responsibility, keep your composure, and keep moving forward, you send a powerful message: I can handle adversity. People admire strength in the face of struggle because it's rare. Most people let stress consume them. When you're the one who rises above it, you separate yourself from the crowd. Emotional control also extends to success. Some people lose respect because they can't handle praise or victory with humility. They gloat, they brag, or they overindulge. Just as you must control yourself in loss, you must also control yourself in moments of triumph. Grace under pressure and grace in victory both build respect. The bottom line is this: emotions are human, but discipline is respected. If you want people to look at you as someone worth following, you must demonstrate that you can stay composed in chaos. Whether it's conflict, criticism, or challenge, your ability to remain steady will speak louder than any words. The person who controls their emotions controls the room, and the person who controls the room always commands respect. Nothing destroys respect faster than failing to do what you said you would do. Words mean nothing if they are not backed up by action. People are watching whether you follow through, whether you show up, and whether you honor your commitments. When you say one thing and do another, you train people not to take you seriously. But when you consistently keep your word, even in small things, you build a reputation for reliability, and that reputation is the foundation of respect. Keeping your word starts with being intentional about what you promise. Too many people casually say yes to things they don't really mean, or they overcommit to avoid disappointing others. They agree in the moment, then back out later. Every time you do that, you lose credibility. It's better to say no up front than to give your word and break it. People may not always like your no, but they will respect your honesty. Respect doesn't come from pleasing everyone. It comes from being consistent and trustworthy. When you keep your word, people start to believe in you, not just because of what you say, but because of what you prove. You become someone they can depend on, and dependability is rare. Think about the people in your life whose word you can trust completely. How much respect do you have for them? How much weight do their words carry compared to someone who is constantly unreliable? That difference is the power of integrity. Keeping your word also requires discipline. There will be times when it's inconvenient, when you're tired, or when circumstances change. It's tempting to make excuses or look for a way out. But integrity means following through, even when it's not easy. That doesn't mean you never adapt. Life happens, emergencies come up, but it does mean that you communicate clearly and take responsibility. If you absolutely can't deliver on a commitment, you address it directly, not by disappearing, not by making excuses, but by owning it. That honesty still earns respect because people see you value accountability. Respect grows when your actions align with your words in every area of life. If you tell someone you'll be on time, show up on time. If you tell your team you'll handle a task, get it done. If you make a personal promise to yourself, like waking up early or sticking to a plan, honor it. Respect isn't just external, it's internal too. When you break promises to yourself, you weaken your own confidence, but when you keep them, you strengthen your self-respect, and that inner strength radiates outward. People can feel it when someone is solid within themselves. Another part of keeping your word is honesty. Don't say things just to impress, to fit in, or to avoid conflict. Speak truthfully, even when it's hard, and then back it up. People are tired of empty talk. They respect those whose actions and words align. When you say what you mean and mean what you say, you don't have to work as hard to earn respect. It comes naturally because people know they can trust you. Consistency is key. One moment of follow-through won't earn lasting respect, just like one broken promise won't completely destroy it. But over time, your patterns build your reputation. You are either someone who does what they say or someone who doesn't, and reputation is powerful. It follows you everywhere. If you want people to respect you instantly, let your track record speak for itself. When others see that you always keep your word, they won't need convincing. They'll already know who you are. The truth is simple. Respect isn't about grand gestures or dramatic speeches. It's about integrity lived out daily. Say less, do more, and let your actions speak. When people know they can count on you, when they know your word actually means something, you won't have to demand respect. It will be given to you naturally because reliability is one of the most powerful currencies you can ever have.